Hey YouTube, hope you guys are doing well. Raj here, back with my first video in the affordable fragrance series. I've set up two new series on my channel, the luxury fragrance series where I tackle fragrances at the higher end of the market, and also I like to own fragrances and explore fragrances which aren't expensive and are very kind on the wallet. So this is what the affordable fragrance series is all about. The first fragrance I'm going to talk about and review is a fragrance from a Greek brand called Korres, and it's their fragrance called Saffron, Amber and Cardamom. This fragrance was not brought to my attention, but kind of brought back into my attention by a fellow YouTube reviewer, Alex, Masters of Style. He's done a brand focus video and he's also done an alternatives video. I think it was like a top 10 alternatives video where he said that YSL's where he said this fragrance was a good alternative to YSL's M7. So not too much talk about this fragrance on YouTube. In terms of the pricing, a 50 ml will cost you between £24 and £30. I think I got mine for about 24. I think the price has gone up recently, but you can find it for a good price online. And this fragrance used to come in 100 ml. I don't know why I can't see it in that size anymore. And this is the packaging. Quite unique actually. This is a nice box with a nice wooden effect going around the box. The fragrance used to say Saffron, Amber, Agarwood and Cardamom. Agarwood is oud. The new packaging doesn't have that anymore for some reason, but it's still a note in the breakdown. And it opens up like this. And inside, you won't be able to read it, but it's got a breakdown, or not a breakdown, but kind of like a description of a couple of ingredients like saffron and cardamom, and the history behind the ingredients and how they're used in this fragrance. And also down the side here, you've got a little bit of history about the brand. And basically, Korres is a natural brand or a natural skincare company, or they try and be as natural as possible. And here they talk about fragrances, or not fragrances, notes which they don't use in their fragrances. So there's very much a strong emphasis on the natural side of things, and down the side here you've got a list of things they do and don't include. Some of it's not really relevant, to be honest, but this is suitable for vegetarians, so yeah. Anyway, in terms of notes, cardamom, bergamot and cinnamon in the top notes. In the mid notes you've got saffron, cedarwood, carnation, apparently, I mean I don't pick it up, sandalwood, dry down, amber, agarwood or oud, and vanilla. So what I get with this fragrance is, it kind of reminds me of it reminds me of different fragrances. In the opening, yeah, it reminds me a lot like Serge Lutens Ambre Sultan. You've got the dry spice in there coming in from the cardamom, which is not overpowering. Cardamom can sometimes be very overpowering. I think it was a Cartier fragrance. I think it might be Declaration by Cartier, which I really hate that. That cardamom note is so strong, but this is very smooth. This is like a dry spice. A nice thick honey-like amber is accompanying this this note, but it's not really a strong fragrance. This is actually quite a skin. This is a skin scent fragrance. It doesn't really shout too loud. It stays quite close to the skin from the beginning, but this subtle scent doesn't make it a bad thing. You can still pick up some really good notes in here. It kind of reminds me a bit like L'Artisan's Timbuktu and Comme des Garçons Wonderwood. Quite smoky. A very woody scent, a burnt wood scent. So what I would say is that imagine you had some wood and it was burning away, and the fire is starting to die down, and you're just left with a wood which is just glowing, and you're left with a subtle smokiness which is still just coming up from this burning wood. So not an intense smokiness, again the fragrance is quite subtle. Another note which I pick up in here, which isn't actually in the breakdown, but I get a black tea vibe from this. Almost like a tea bag or some tea leaves have been left in boiling water and just left to brew and brew and brew and haven't actually been taken out. It's quite a strong scent in here. And that potentially could be the saffron and the sandalwood combining to give a quite not a bitterness. I know I mentioned tea being brewed for a long time. That's in there, but it's also in there with a creamy sandalwood as well. It's a really interesting fragrance, really interesting. Also in this fragrance is oud. Now, if you don't like oud and you just think that it's not for you, I think this fragrance could win you over. Oud is... it doesn't really dominate. It's definitely in there and it's definitely quite noticeable. But it's smooth. It's a smooth, sweet, honey, thick, ambery scent going all in there in one go. And the scent is on the linear side. It doesn't develop too much away from this woody, smoky, ambery scent, which is enough, to be honest. I mean, you're not paying a huge amount of money, and I wouldn't expect a huge amount from a skincare company's fragrance. It definitely delivers. It's a really good scent. Longevity-wise, projection-wise, issues here, to be honest. Projection, not much. Longevity, you can get good longevity with this. I have had 6 or 7 hours. If you spray the fragrance on a spot and you spray it twice, so you might want to spray it twice here, you might want to spray it twice on the chest, twice up here, instead of doing one, and one, and you could do 4 or 5 sprays of this, which is actually quite a lot. I mean, I do about 4, and it lasts me for a solid 4 hours, and maybe 2 or 3 on top of that. It becomes quite close to the skin, after a few hours. Overall, quite a good value fragrance. This is what the affordable fragrance series is all about, and I would give this a rating of 7.5. A great scent, good value. Performance issues let it down, but I definitely would recommend it. And so yeah, that's my first review in the affordable fragrance series. More coming in the luxury fragrance review and the affordable one too. Let me know what you guys think. Have you ever heard of this brand? Have you ever tried it? Always good to hear your thoughts. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.